Welcome, stranger aliens, to today's tutorial, Fast and Fluffy VTuber Eyes. This tutorial is a small part of my overarching walkthrough that I made for head 90-degree turn. That is a part of my Perfect Sync Mouth tutorial bundle. Yeah, so this is one of the many videos you can get in there. Some of them are walkthrough style and some of them are like this, tutorial style. Okay, let's get started. So if you don't have your meshes already set up, you're gonna want to set them up in a similar fashion to mine. Make sure that the whites of your eyes are symmetrically divided in the middle, and make sure that your lashes have a high degree of division. For things like EX emote toggles, like hearts and star eyes, you can also just do 4 divide because they don't tend to move all that much. If you're gonna be lazy, use 4 divide. Don't use the auto mesh. It clips off edges sometimes and it's never symmetrical. So here we're gonna make a new deformer for the eyeball parts. And this will be our eyeball XY. So we're quickly going in and deforming these corners here, just to give it a little bit of a 3D rotation, and then flipping that. You might need to make some final adjustments on the flip side, and then we'll go straight up into the Y. Like I said, this is a fast tutorial, so we're just gonna get it done. But in the end, these eyes will be fantastic. Once eyeball XY is done, make sure to go in and synthesize corners. Now I want to grab my larger highlights here and also put them on XY. It's good to have the highlights move in reaction to the actual eyeball movement. These will also be linked to the blend shape R glitz. Let me pull up a screenshot really quick to show you all the parameters we will need. If you want to skip over the process of hand making your parameters, you can head to my studio's coffee shop. It's ran by Beppin-chan, and we offer my parameter setup for very cheap over there. Now take everything that is iris and put it on Iris Sizer. We will use this in conjunction with other EX toggles to make your expressions look a lot more expressive. I'll also add the pupil to the R bounce blend shape. So with bounce, we're going to squeeze in the sides at -10, and at +10, we're going to squeeze up and down the middle. So squishes in and on the sides and then in on the top and bottom. And we'll do the same thing for the pupil, but make it nice and small with the brush. Now let's do the glitz blend shape. We should have everything connected to them already, but we're gonna shake them side to side like they're going in a circle. So at -10, we'll go up on the right hand side and then down on the left hand side, and then we'll take the middle glitter and just bring it up and down. So there's a little bit of differentiation in the movement. Look how nice that is. So now we're gonna do our lit physics. If you're not sure what goes onto this blend shape, it's the underlighting and the overlighting effects for an eyeball. The eyeball I'm doing here is very simplified, just to kind of give a better idea of what layers should be where and how these things move together. So we're gonna take the overlighting and move that up and down along with the underlighting so that they're moving together. And then we'll take the reflector, which is a nice, bright, shiny light reflection. And we're just gonna kind of enlarge it and rotate it as it looks nice. So something to make the lights kind of flashing past her eyes. Yeah. Okay, so that's all the eyeball and physics we need to do. Now we can move on to the actual eye opening and closing. Pro tip, make sure your eyeshadow is in the correct draw order location, and you're going to want to make sure that the eyeshadow is clipped to the eye white along with everything else. Go ahead and select everything that is eyelash and eyeball and eye skin. Link it in for 2 keyframes, and I highly recommend that you have this automatically set to either 1.5 or just 2. So it goes all the way to 2 or to 1.5 depending on how drastic you want your shock eyes to be. After that, you're going to want to click inside the parameter box, hit 1 and then enter, so you make sure that you're at the right spot, and then click the green dot with the plus sign next to it to add a keyframe. Once that's ready, we can start rigging. So on the highest setting, whether it's 1.5 or 2, raise the eyebrows up and down to make a shocked face, like a gong. It's also nice to make another parameter for your eyeball and put that on the shocked part as well, so that it automatically shrinks. And I will do that here in 1 second. There we go. See the lids and the lashes and everything that we have selected. It all moves together. Can make it decently drastic. It's a pretty cute feature that my current VTuber doesn't have. I need an update. Okay. So we're just tweaking the shape here, saving habitually. And now we need to do the close. It's always good to start with the whites and get it in where you need to go. I like to just take the bounding box and make a nice little line kind of in the right spot, and then pat it out very gently with the brush to make it the actual shape, because you really want this to be clean. You really don't want your eye white to get messy. So be very gentle and trust the process. And we're gonna hide it with our big top lashes. So I'm gonna use the temporary deform tool here to get a nice curve going. The temporary deform tool is slightly cleaner than the real deform tool, and I think it works perfect for eyes. So I'm holding shift when I'm dragging here. That keeps everything in line, nice and clean. And then you can start scooching the ends. The ends are gonna be a little messy. So you want to scooch the ends. There's a little mess at my tip there. We're gonna have to go in with the actual selection tool and fix that one at a time. So I changed the brush shape and I'm just kind of fixing those little nodes, putting them back where they need to be, smoothing that right out. Very lovely. The shape is still a little wonky, so let's pad that down. Just with the side of the brush, being nice and gentle. And now we've got a wonderful line that moves perfectly with our eye white. So I'm gonna actually pad the eye white in just a little more to make sure it lines up perfectly, like an eyeball would, with a bit of that 3D motion. Now we need to get those lashes going. So I'm gonna start with the highlights and gently and slowly pad that into a shape that is generally correct. Scooch it on down. Yeah. Nothing too crazy. We're just going and making sure that every little piece has the dedication it deserves. Perfect. I'm gonna move the entire bottom chunk together with the brush. Nice and gently, pushing it up. Yeah. It just turns out much better than trying to use a path deformer for the bottom lashes, especially when they're this thin. Very careful with the sides. The sides can give you the most problems when the eye is closing. You see there's a lot of issues right there. The white's gonna need to be lowered so that it lines up with the bottom lash. See how it's still not quite lining up perfectly? So we need to tweak the final look of the eye to get all of the art meshes to be moving in a way that is complementary to, you know, the eye close. That's looking real good. Now we just need to get those lashes. I can't find the side lash. Oh dear. I found it, There we go. Very nice. Get a little bit. Yeah. That's looking good. Just rotating and pushing this one up, keeping that shape. And the key to the fluffy eyes is really in the blend shapes. I'll put up those parameters for you again here so you can double check that. So we've got eye open, eye smile, eye squint. Those are typically just regular parameters. Then we have lash physics, bounce physics, glitter physics, and lit physics for the lighting. So for the regular lashes, it's pretty easy. You grab the bounding box and just flip them right on over so that they're looking down in a nice soft eye close situation. And when you smile, they'll flip up with the eye smile toggle. Well, it's not a toggle parameter. Yeah. Whoosh. Very nice. Now before we move on, I'm going to make a warp deformer really quick here and add this to the eyeball movement settings. So on our bounce as well as eyeball XY, we want the eye lash area to move when the eyeball does, because generally when the eyeball moves, your eyelids will also move, even though we don't typically see it very much in real life. We'll make it more drastic in the anime stuffs. Back to IR Open, I noticed that I forgot to move the makeup. Silly me. So let's get that going. Just simply moving it down and squishing it slightly. Now for Smile, I'm gonna want to get those lashes back flipped back up. Okay, left click on the IR Open parameter keyframe and select all the meshes, art meshes that are linked to that will get selected, and then we'll go to IR Smile. And so we're gonna grab a nice big brush for IR Smile Open and just slightly squish it up and down so that it's got like a little happiness thing going. I guess up specifically, not down, just up. And then for IR Smile with the eye closed, we just need to flip the lashes back to their topward facing motion, and also generally move the shape of the eye upward. So pretty simple stuff, pretty easy peasy. Yeah, flips nice, and then when it's open it's also nice. Oh, I just noticed that the eye shadow didn't move with the eye closing. You always want to make sure that your shadow, the cast shadow over top the eyeball and the eye, moves downward with IR Open closing. Yeah, makes it look much better. And I'm just changing the side right there slightly for the shock one. You don't typically smile when you're shocked, but yeah, it's good to cover your bases. No cutting corners when you want your eyes to be nice and fluffy. For Squint, I'm gonna make a new warp deformer. So that warp deformer will be the underneath all of the other lash specific warp deformers, and we're just gonna use it to make that nice angry face. And doing it this way will keep it from interfering with eye smile or anything else. So it'll just automatically toggle when you're squinting, and it just looks real nice. See? Just squeezing right in there on the sides. It's perfect. So the eyes should now be done. We'll have to reflect them and swing into the physics to see if everything's working correctly. Before we open up the physics settings, make sure that you go into this little hamburger menu, go to Settings for Eye Blinking and Lip Sync, and find your eye open left and right, and make sure they're set to eye blinking. If you don't have those on, they will not auto blink in the physics menu. So now that we're in our physics menu, we are going to add a new physics group. This will be IR. So let's add IR Open as our main input and set it to 100%. Make sure to hit enter or else it won't take. Now add one pendulum. No need to change it. Now we need to add our output settings. This will be all of our blend shapes. So we'll do lash, bounce, glitter, lit physics. All those go right in. And you can see it's kind of working okay already. But I like to stagger them a little bit. I like to make some of the bounce. I'll put that up at 3. And I'll generally increase the output for all of it. I like to go hard and then step it back a little if it's a little too much. So here I'm noticing that glitter is not enough, and I'm upping that higher. and then bringing it lower because I changed my mind. It's just about testing on the scale. The scale determines how much it moves and jiggles. Now I feel like the lashes aren't bouncing enough, and then I just remembered I never rigged them into the physics toggle. So take everything that's lash, make sure they're in those physics things, and they're just gonna jiggle. They're just gonna jiggle. So make sure that the sides jiggle slightly differently than the middle parts, because the big fluffy lashes are gonna have much larger movements. And you want to remember to think of things in a circle, in a 3D motion. So if the upper lashes are going to the right, the lower lashes are going to the left, and vice versa. It just gives it a rounded, more fluffier look, because you don't want everything to be moving exactly the same. The best physics look good because things are moving in asymmetry. There's more motion going on. That's my pro tip. Those are pretty good. Those are pretty good. I'm gonna change the shape just a little bit because I want it to be super fluffy. Yeah, much better. Okay, that's a pretty perfect fluffy little eyeball. And it's pretty dang fast. You only need 4 blend shapes. Okay, now that that's done, we need to flip it. So select everything. I mean everything. All the warp deformers, everything that says IR, even the head movement, especially the head movement. Get it all. You can hold shift to select everything. And if you missed anything, hold control and that'll reselect one at a time. Then right click, go down to the bottom, hit reflect. Anything that is an X motion, so the head X or the eyeball X, that needs to be reflected. You need to select that. And then once it's flipped, and hopefully in the right spot, we need to change the glitter. Because the glitter you don't want to be reflected. It looks weird, it looks alien. The glitter needs to be lighting on the same side of each eyeball for it to look natural. Last thing you need to do is relink everything to left. So you'll need to right click on a parameter, hit select. It'll select everything that's on that parameter. Then you'll need to right click on it one more time, and in that same drop down there's it will say change. On change, you can go and find your left eye parameters. Blend shapes and regular parameters will be distinguished differently, so the menu under change will look different than your normal parameter setup. Go ahead and scroll down, take your time, and link every single left to the left ones instead of the right ones. Yeah. And that should be it. Quick, fluffy, easy, and I hope you guys enjoyed. I know my tutorials can be a little silly, but thanks for watching. I hope you liked it. I hope it was helpful, and I hope it sped up your process a little bit, because I'm all about, what's that word? Doing things better and faster, because it's better to do things faster. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna beam back up to the mothership. I'll see you later. Bye.